The ancient instinct of hygiene. You wake up, and the first thing you do is brush your teeth. No thinking, no doubting, just a reflex. Your ancestors didn't have toothbrushes, no toothpaste, no bottled soap on the shower shelf. For about 300,000 years, humans lived, ate, loved each other, and raised children without any of those things. So what did they do, and why did their bodies survive until today, long enough for you to be here, reading these lines? The answer is more complex than you might think, and parts of it will surprise you. Before diving into the details, let's imagine something simple. The human body, like any other animal, has its own self-cleaning mechanisms. The skin constantly sheds dead cells. Sweat helps regulate temperature and washes away some dirt. Saliva in the mouth has natural antibacterial properties. Your ancestors didn't start from scratch. They started with a body, evolved to protect itself, and then supplemented it with learned techniques, passed down through observation and imitation. The truth about ancient oral care. Let's start with oral care, as this is where the archaeological evidence is clearest. Researchers analyzing the fossilized teeth of ancient humans found something shocking. Many ancient sets of teeth, especially before the agricultural era, had a significantly lower rate of cavities compared to modern human teeth. Anthropologist Alan Cooper and his colleagues, in studies analyzing ancient bacteria in fossilized dental plaque, discovered that the human oral microbiome changed drastically with the advent of agriculture. Pre-agriculture, a diet low in sugar and refined carbohydrates, meant that cavity-causing bacteria had less fuel to thrive on. It wasn't because ancient humans had better oral hygiene techniques than you. It was because they ate fewer things that ruined their teeth. But that doesn't mean they did nothing at all. Archaeological evidence at various sites, including analyses of Neanderthal teeth, reveals small, regular scratches between the teeth. These are believed to be signs of using an object, perhaps a small twig or a stiff blade of grass, to pick and clean between them. This is practically humanity's most primitive version of dental floss, appearing tens of thousands of years before anyone invented boxed dental floss. The fascinating thing is that these scratches do not appear randomly. They have recurring placements, in the same gaps between teeth, in the same direction, year after year, on the same set of teeth. This indicates that this wasn't a one-off impulsive act, but a regularly repeated habit, almost like a morning ritual, no different from you picking up your toothbrush every day. In many later ancient cultures, from Egypt to Greece, there are records of people using small twigs, chewed soft at one end, creating natural fibers like brush bristles to scrub their teeth. This is the distant predecessor of the modern toothbrush sitting in your cup. Some ancient cultures even mixed fine powders from crushed eggshells, limestone, or antiseptic herbs to rub on their teeth, creating something akin to the concept of tooth powder thousands of years before the first tube of toothpaste hit the market. Body hygiene, a survival tactic. Now, let's move on to the part that most people get wrong. Overall body hygiene. The popular image of prehistoric humans is that they were dirty, smelly, and lived in the mud. However, anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer groups that have survived into recent times, such as the Hadza in Tanzania or the Jew, Hawansi in the Kalahari region, note something very different. Frequent bathing in rivers, streams, or lakes is a vital part of daily life for many hunter-gatherer communities, not for the sake of cleanliness in the modern sense, but because it helps eliminate body odors that could attract predators, cools the body in hot environments, and removes parasites clinging to the skin. Think about this in terms of pure survival logic. A strongly smelling body is not just a social nuisance. It is a dangerous invitation to predators with a sense of smell far superior to ours. In a world where being detected first could mean becoming prey, controlling body odor was no longer an aesthetic issue. It was a survival calculation, performed every day without anyone needing to verbally explain the reason. Anthropologist James Sussman, who has extensively studied the life of the Jew, Hawansi, once pointed out that many hunter-gatherer communities consider keeping the body clean, especially avoiding leaving a strong scent to be vital in hunting. An animal can smell you from far away if you let body odor accumulate for too long. Hygiene to them wasn't a social ritual. It was a tool for survival. The unexpected invention of soap. So what about soap? This is the part that surprises many. The use of soap-like compounds, made from animal fat mixed with plant ash, has been recorded in many ancient civilizations, like Babylon and Egypt, dating back thousands of years, much earlier than people typically think. Plant ash contains alkali, which, when mixed with fat, creates a basic chemical reaction, similar to how modern soap is produced. Even more distant ancestors, before this formula existed, might have used special clays, fine sand, or even simple ash to scrub away oils and dirt on their skin. What's worth mentioning is that this ancient soap recipe didn't require a laboratory or a chemist. It only required observation. Someone, somewhere in human history, must have noticed that cooking ash falling into animal fat created a slimy substance that cleaned better than plain water. That discovery was remembered, tested again, gradually improved upon, and then passed from person to person, completely without the need for writing to preserve the formula. That is science, in its most primitive and pragmatic form. A morning in the Paleolithic. Let's recreate a morning, because abstract imagination doesn't fully capture the real feeling of it. You wake up by a small stream near where the group has made camp. The first thing isn't a mirror and a sink, but stepping straight into the cool water. You use your hands to splash water on your face, perhaps rubbing a bit of fine sand onto your skin to remove the layer of oil built up overnight. A small twig is snapped off, the end chewed soft, used to scrub across your teeth, then gently picked into the spaces between them where food remains from the night before. There are no mirrors to look into, but you still know when your mouth is clean, thanks to a familiar feeling passed down through observing adults do this since you were little. Young children in the group stand nearby, observing without being told to. This is precisely how hygiene knowledge was passed down, not through manuals, not through on-screen advertisements, but through watching adults do it every morning, year after year, until the action became a natural reflex ingrained in the body, exactly like how you automatically pick up a toothbrush today without a second thought. After washing your face and cleaning your teeth, you might use a type of leaf with mild antiseptic properties, known within the group as a natural remedy, to rub on areas of skin prone to scratches or insect bites sustained while moving through thickets the day before. This isn't skincare in the cosmetic sense. This is body maintenance, ensuring a minor scratch doesn't turn into a severe infection in an environment without antibiotics. Bathing didn't always happen daily, as it depended on the available water source, but it was much more regular than many assume, especially in areas with rivers and streams near the settlement. This wasn't a random whim. It was repeated, retaught, from one generation to the next, just like any other crucial survival skill. The agricultural paradox. This is the point where the story becomes interestingly ironic. People often assume that the closer we get to modern times, the cleaner and healthier humans became. But researchers point out a significant step backward that once occurred. When humans transitioned from hunter-gatherers to agricultural settlements and lived in more crowded concentrations in early urban areas, the rate of disease due to poor hygiene and high population density actually went up, not down. Living close to livestock, accumulating waste near living areas, and dense populations created ideal environments for parasites and infectious diseases to thrive, in ways that the scattered, nomadic life of earlier hunter-gatherers rarely encountered. Think about this difference in a concrete way. A small hunter-gatherer group, constantly on the move, leaves waste behind when they depart. The soil and natural sunlight gradually decompose it before the group returns to that area, if they ever do. A settled agricultural community, fixed in one place for years or even generations, accumulates human and animal waste right in or near their living quarters. Drinking water sources and wastewater sources gradually intersected. This is the exact recipe for the outbreaks of gastrointestinal diseases and parasites that paleopathology has recorded spiking in early agricultural settlements compared to earlier nomadic groups. In other words, progress doesn't always equal cleaner. There were periods in human history where living close to nature and moving constantly unintentionally protected humans better than the permanent settlement we still consider a hallmark of civilization, an unbroken thread. So, what does this have to do with you? Holding your phone, standing in a bathroom fully equipped with toothpaste, soap, and on-demand hot water. The instinct to keep the body clean is not something modern society invented. It was ingrained in humans, long before soap factories or toothpaste commercials on television existed. Your ancestors didn't have toothbrushes, but they still found ways to care for their bodies. using the simplest tools nature provided, because their lives depended on it. There's one more thing worth pondering. Every time you feel uncomfortable because your hands are dirty, because your breath smells, or because your body feels sticky after a long day, that feeling isn't a modern human frailty. It is an ancient instinct, fine-tuned through hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, still intact within you. It's just that now it's satisfied by a hot shower instead of a cold stream. The methods have changed radically over tens of thousands of years. But the feeling of needing to be clean, neat, and healthy, that is an unbroken thread, connecting a small twig by an ancient stream to the tube of toothpaste sitting on your bathroom shelf right now. You wake up and the first thing you do is brush your teeth. Your ancestors did the same thing, in their own way, hundreds of thousands of years before you were born.